Hi there, Phil here from Radio.co, and thank you very, very much for joining me for this extra special webinar all about how to elevate how you broadcast your own internet radio station. Now, in the past, we have geared these kinds of things towards the topic of how to, efficiently use our Radio.co software. We've offered guidance on different equipment to use, and we've even spoke at great length about basic marketing tips. But what we've yet to venture into is a real proper conversation about music, or specifically the best places to acquire it and the best way to actually compile that together. What makes a good music-based radio station? Or rather, the question should be asking, what's the difference between a good music station and a great music station? And to help us explore and to discuss with me, I've invited someone with a lot more knowledge and experience in that field than me. So allow me to introduce Kel Sweeney from Promo Only. Thank you very much, Kel, for joining me.
Hello.
So how are you? Everything all right on your end?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Yes, just Friday morning is always a bit of a busy one because we're doing kind of music. New release days Friday, so that's always an exciting time for new music.
Awesome. And to give everyone listening in, what's your background first? So before we touch on Promo Only exclusively, what's your background? What's your sort of passions?
I've been a club DJ since the early 90s, and I've worked various from clubs to corporate events to not too much mobile stuff. I have got involved with mobile stuff, but generally it's club stuff. I've played. I was out in Ibiza a couple of weeks ago playing Ibiza Rocks. So still DJing quite a bit in my old age these days. Yes.
Awesome. And I guess what's your preference as a DJ? I guess what's your speciality really in terms of like the DJing world?
Well, dance music, kind of broadly speaking, but I can kind of pretty much play anything. I've always been. I came from university background, so playing open format with pretty much, you had to go from, I don't know, Wakefield to Brown Eyed Girl to ABBA to the latest dance track and in between. So I've kind of grown up with that. I mean, if I'm let off the leash, I'll play dance. But the biggest thing is using the mic as well, and I think that's a big thing. Is if you're good on the mic, you can always play anything and still go anywhere really.
Yeah, and you mentioned about like Ibiza there. So what's your ideal scenario if you're really to be let off the leash, so to speak? What's your sort of favourite thing about what it is you do?
Well, house, yeah. I mean, I do a regular. I try and make it weekly, but I've been so busy that I haven't done one in the last month. I do a weekly mix of new music. So it's all dance music, new house music that I get sent through. I get sent quite a bit of stuff, and it's just like to put it all together into a mix, almost for myself to listen to in the gym, really. But I'll just put it up online in case anyone else might want to listen.
Yeah, and I mean, we're going to go into a bit more depth about Promo Only specifically a little bit later, but just as a bit of a teaser, so to speak, could you give me like an elevator pitch for exactly kind of, to summarise exactly kind of what Promo Only is?
Well, Promo Only, then I curate all the music that gets released. So it's aimed at your open format sort of DJ, really. So I curate the best of the week's releases from dance music, from the urban stuff, from the pop stuff. So pretty much it's going to be relevant for almost anyone who's playing any kind of commercial music in some shape or form. We track all the new music that enters the top 100 charts, the official chart. I track what gets playlisted on Capital Dance and Kiss, the Radio 1 and the Radio 2 playlists as well. So I kind of just try and keep up. It's almost a full-time job, just tracking the music that's coming out and making sure that we're releasing the relevant stuff for the subscribers.
Yeah, and how did Promo Only come about?
Well, it started off in the US. It was the brainchild of a couple of fellas over there who started producing CDs for the DJ fraternity in the US, and they sort of the latest tracks on CD. It started off on CD in the good old days, and then they sort of grew their company. Then they moved into video as well. So we do have a very big video subscription for the video DJs. Video DJing was very big for a while, so there still is that video side of it. So in the US, they're a very big company, Promo Only, and then the US company then had the subsidiary of the UK and Europe site, which sort of started around about 2004 or 5, and they used to just do the video stuff, and then we branched into audio in 2017, I believe, if my memory is correct, and we started doing an audio subscription then so we opened up to both audio and video subscriptions for all sorts of DJs, really.
Yeah, amazing. And when did you personally kind of get involved with it?
Well, I've been working in the background on the technical side, doing a lot of the intro edits and the clean edits for well over 10 years. And then 4 years ago now, my colleague, he very sadly passed away. So it was kind of handed to me for the job of doing all the music, really, and being the face of Promo Only UK.
Awesome. God, I can definitely relate to that. But yeah, thank you very much, Cal. Like I said, we're going to go into a bit more detail about Promo Only, and you're going to give us a bit of a demonstration and guidance on, what it is it actually entails and how to use it for, in conjunction for DJs and radio broadcasters. So before we learn a bit more about Promo Only and how it can help radio broadcasters, at least from our end, and of course how it can help DJs self-promote themselves, I figured now is a good time to kind of give everyone a bit of a recap on the very basics of using Radio.co. I mean, if anything, this will give Kel and the rest of the Promo Only team a bit of a better context as to how his platform can certainly help shape the future of internet radio, or as I say, at very least, allowing an alternative additional avenue for DJs to go down. And if it's something that you as well haven't investigated just yet, then allow me to demonstrate, at the very least, the basics of using Radio.co and just to show you just how easy it can be to launch your very own internet radio station. Yeah, so if you're coming into this video completely brand new to the world of Radio.co, perhaps you are a Promo Only user and you do have a bit of interest in perhaps launching your very own internet radio station, or just using this as another means of getting your content out there, this is Radio.co. In a nutshell, first of all, it is an entirely cloud-based system that's designed to give you all of the features, all of the software, tools and support needed to honestly create your very own internet radio station in a very easy, user-friendly, professional, reliable way. And this, first of all, is the dashboard. And this is really kind of like a welcome screen. So it just shows you exactly what your station is doing at the moment. Things like how much storage space is being used, how many listeners are currently listening at the moment, if you've got any particular shows coming up throughout the day, any particular playlist you've got scheduled, and of course, whether your station is on air or not. That's the most important thing, arguably. The way our platform works, it's entirely cloud-based. So it's us that are actually powering it through our cloud servers. So as soon as you turn your station on air, that's it. It's designed to remain on air 24/7. Even if you have technical difficulties, a power cut, or a DJ is late starting a show, there's tools in place to ensure that that does not affect your station. It's continuously broadcasting around the clock each and every day. The first step really of the basics of getting anything started, and obviously this is worthwhile for any DJ or any hobbyist radio station owner, is to begin uploading content. And you can upload anything you like as long as it's an MP3 file. So this could be individual tracks. It could be a huge mix that's already been put together, an hour-long, 2-hour-long show perhaps. It could be talk content. It could be promotional content, commercials, jingles, whatever they are. As long as it's an MP3 file, they can be uploaded. And you just hit select files, and they'll all then sit in your media library. And the media library itself is all cloud-based as well, of course. So it doesn't matter what computer you're using to log into it from, it is there. So I've uploaded about 2,000 tracks on this particular account, lots of varying different content, I say music, jingles, spoken word. And one of the first features to kind of really just cab over here is the purpose of tagging. And this will be particularly useful, again, for those, DJs coming into our platform with a fresh perspective. Tagging is basically categorizing your media. So if you are wanting to upload a playlist of brand new releases or old content, from specific genres or decades, perhaps, the idea of tagging is basically organizing your media. You're creating a folder to keep everything all together. So I've got a couple of examples here. I've categorized some tracks, albeit incorrectly, but things like 90s, easygoing, hip hop, jingle, recordings, things like that. And all you do is you simply just highlight any particular track you want. So let me just get a random one down here. These 4 tracks. And let's just say this is house music, or it could be 90s dance or something. So let's just say tag those and maybe call this 90s dance, maybe something like that. We'll spell it correctly, Phil, first of all. There we go. And then what you can do is you've entered in the tag, which again could be whatever you like. You click create, and then you attach it to those files. And in doing that, those files will then eventually all have that category attached to them. And you've then created a folder which will then store all those tracks inside. So you know exactly how many 90s tracks you've got, how many tracks of a certain BPM you've got, for example. So that's uploading media. As I say, upload whatever you like. The fun then comes into building your playlists, and you can build as many playlists as you like. They can be as long as you want, as short as you want. And, the purpose of building these playlists is because our system, as I say, is cloud-based, which therefore means the automation element of your radio station is being powered by us. Automation is basically just your station not being live, but it's playing around the clock autonomously, of course. So you can, say, build as many playlists as you like. You can select very specific times and lengths that you want them to play at, and it will do that even if your computer is off. It just continues playing content all around the globe, all around the clock as well. So I've got a few examples here. I've got things like a breakfast show, a dance music show, Phil's afternoon show, Phil's Tuesday night show, very egotistical radio station, I know. But we also have a feature called the default playlist, which is here. And if you were to create an account today, right now, you would have a default playlist as well. And all it does is, this is like your auto DJ in a way, where anytime your station is on air, but you don't have anything specifically scheduled, this default playlist automatically takes over. The point of it is to help you run a 24-hour radio station without having to manage it 24 hours a day, of course. So you can leave as many gaps in your schedule as possible, and whatever you've put inside that default playlist will just play in automation. So I'm just going to jump ahead to my schedule for a moment. And, see, it basically looks like a Google Calendar here, or something similar, of course. And you've got your days of the week on the top. You've got your times down by the side. And all this will do is, I've got a playlist specifically scheduled 6 till 9. But then I've got a huge gap here between 9 and 12. And I've also got a similar gap between 2 and 3, 5 and 6, 8 and 9, and so forth. Now, all of those gaps are going to be automatically filled by that default playlist. Now, you don't need to set anything up to do that. It's been built to do it. You just need to fill it with, at least one file, and it will then just fill in those gaps automatically. So, as you see, the idea of having a 24-hour radio station is a piece of cake. It's a lot easier to do than it initially seems. We have people who don't schedule a single thing, and they just leave their default playlist to basically power everything for them. Coming from a DJ or someone who just wants to broadcast one show a week, don't disregard the fact you've got a 24/7 platform. There's nothing wrong, and a lot of stations do this. It's just having the same content playing on loop. So maybe you have done a 2-hour live DJ set, or you've pre-recorded one. You can upload that and kind of just have that on loop for 2 hours, every 2 hours, every single day. But then next week, you've got a new show. So it doesn't matter what time or where in the world people are finding your station, your stream, they're always going to be listening to your content. It's the power of having a autonomous 24-hour radio station. But if you want to build your own playlist, very straightforward. You just click where it says Create Playlist. You give it a name. So I'll just call this one Promo Only Show, something like that. Give it a color or an image, and then you click Save. And it then allows you to build your playlist. So everything on the left is your library. Everything on the right is the show that you're constructing. Now, we're going to be speaking with Cal a little bit later as he tells us, how you can source some of this music within a promo only. But let's just say for now, I have sourced the latest releases that I wanted to play as part of this station, and I've uploaded them, and I found them at the top of my list here. Now, your options to add tracks to your playlist are, you can either add tracks to the start, you can add them to the end, or if you don't want either of those options, you can just drag them into place, like so. And that's a very, very simple way of building a playlist, putting very specific things in a very specific order. So if I was just to add a few more, like so, I can drag the order of them around if I want as well. In a matter of clicks, I've created a 25-minute long show here, easy peasy. Now, I mentioned about tags earlier. Tags are great for organizing. Tags are also great for programming. So I can take any of these tags I've made. So I've got an easygoing tag. I've got that 90s dance tag I made before. I think I've got house classics here. And what the software will do is when it gets to one of these tags in the running order, it will just play a random track associated with that tag. Nice and simple. So, it will play a random easygoing, a random 90s dance, and it will play a track that has yet to play. So the software does have the ability to, know whether a track has played recently. So it allows them to autoplay once before any start repeating. You can also build a playlist that only contains tags as well. So if you want a completely randomized show, But it still follows a particular criteria, like you still definitely want a 90s dance track, a house classics track. It will make sure to pick tracks from those categories, again, one that has yet to play. Particularly useful for DJs wanting to do live broadcasts, live streams on our platform. You do have the ability to record them, which is perfect. So, if you're doing a live broadcast, no longer is your shows just simply, one and done. You can record them, you can repurpose them. At the very least, you can put them in a playlist. So here's a live show that I did earlier today. I can take that file across and I can repeat it for anyone who may have missed it when it was live. We do actually have the ability for you to download files and you can upload them to the likes of Mixcloud maybe to make some of your mixes available on demand through the platform. And then we also have voice tracking, not particularly a major tool, I imagine, for the purpose of DJs, but if you do want to just experiment with building a pre-recorded show piece by piece within a playlist, voice tracking will just allow you to pre-record vocal content, slot that within your playlist, and all of a sudden, what did previously sound like back-to-back music actually sounds like there's a host introducing, back announcing tracks, like a traditional radio show. For DJs who are wanting to use this platform as a means of broadcasting their pre-recorded mixes, you can simply just build a playlist that contains one single file, and upload that 60-minute file, for example, put that into the playlist and save it. The only way to get anything to play that is not live is to put it into a playlist and then schedule it. So scheduling, really simple. So the last thing I'm going to show is I'm going to click save. I'm going to go to schedule. And all you do is you click the time you want a show to start and you drag it to the time you want it to finish. So if I was to do a show tonight, say, well, let me delete this show I've got here. Make it a bit easier. And I'm going to click on 9 p.m. and drag it to 11 because I would like the show to play 9 till 11. So I click and drag. Now it's going to ask me to specify the kind of show I want to do. So if it's going to be a playlist, great. I just click the playlist option and I specify the playlist I want to play. So yeah, I'm going to play the promo only show, which means as soon as it gets to this start time, it will automatically fade in that specific playlist and that playlist will automatically come to an end at the end of the duration. So that's the first question. It's now asking me to clarify the start time, which is today, 17th of October at 9 p.m. It will run for 2 hours and it'll finish at 11. It's then asking me, do I want to repeat this? So do I want this particular slot to be scheduled at the same time on multiple days of the week? And in this example, yes, I would like it every Friday, every Saturday, and every Sunday. It's then asking me, do I want to repeat this going forward? So yes, I would like it not only this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I click repeat every week. I choose a random date within the next 2 years, and it will schedule it up until that point. So I'll do it to the end of April. Why not? And then you click create, give it a second or two. Hey presto, there we go. So this is now scheduled in that show, 9 till 11. It's a playlist. Specifically, it's going to play the promo only show. And as I say, because this is all cloud-based, it automatically fades in, automatically fades out, even if your computer is off and, there's no one there to manage it live. If it's going to be a live show, it's done in a very similar way. You just click the live DJ option in the middle, and then you would choose yourself to be the host, or you can give people remote access. So this is a great way for DJs to come together and maybe run their very own radio station. Each DJ does their own set on different times, different days of the week. You can flow in from one to another. So let's just say, yes, I am going to do this show, Phil. And it's going to specify that I'm going to be the host. And you'll choose a backup playlist. You could build this yourself, and this is something that will play in the event of technical issues. So say you are halfway through a terrific live DJ set and you have a power cut, then don't worry, your internet feed might be lost. You'll technically be taken off air. The software will recover with a backup playlist of your choosing to ensure there's never any dead air. And then you answer the same questions. The times, the days, the weeks, and finally whether you want to record the broadcast because it's a live show. Let's record it. Let's click save. And that's it. That's the basics of programming, really. That's all I'm really going to cover in that sort of thing. There are more features available. We do have a tool called Voice Studio, which allows you to build a really good in-depth show, fading in, fading out of each other with AI voices if you want to create your own promos and jingles and such. But that's a tutorial for another day. You can find a lot more help about running and creating your radio station, different ways to program it from our help center, which is help.radio.co, or just from our website. And finally, if you want people to listen to the station, simplest ways are a streaming link. It's probably the most unattractive way of people listening. And I say that just because there's nothing branded about it. You can share that, people click on it, and it's just a play button on a black screen. So yeah, nothing to look at, but a very, very easy way of people listening. You can use that link to distribute your station to internet radio directories. There are more places on the internet people can use to listen to your radio station. If you have a website, if you want to create a brand around your DJ audio identity, you can have a web player. And this is something you can embed, copy and paste basically onto your website, and anyone who visits your site, there we go, they've got your radio station. And then finally, again, if you want to further bolster this brand you're trying to establish for yourself, we can build you your very own mobile phone app. We can build you your very own Alexa smart speaker command. Again, these are white label. These are things we create for you. We release them in a matter of weeks. And this is something official to download worldwide from the Google Play Store, Apple App Store. And it's an app exclusively dedicated to your station and your station only. So if you want to make your radio station, your audio brand more efficient, more accessible, that's a perfect way to go. And you'll always have access to statistics to monitor your station's growth. Are people digging what you're doing? Are people enjoying it at a particular time? What devices are people using? Who's listening right at this moment in time? So, it can still be a lot to go through just by covering the basics there, but the idea is just to show you how user-friendly the system is. So even if you don't intend to run this as a 24-hour radio station, you absolutely don't have to. This could just be an avenue for DJs to do live shows within the platform, or just make a continuous automated stream of all of their previous content. So there we have it. Now, as I said, there is a lot more to the platform in terms of what it can do. Touched on them a few already, like pre-recording voice tracks, those AI hosts or AI voices you can implement, statistics even. But in terms of getting it up and running in mere minutes, that's kind of it for now. And if you want to learn a bit more, we do offer demos. It's a one-on-one personal video call with myself or a colleague, and we'll go through that in a bit more in depth and actually put it in relation to what it is you want to achieve. So with that, we move on from one platform to another. So I'm going to hand over this next bit to Kel, who's going to give us a bit more of a detailed look and overview into promo only and how it can benefit both DJs, of course, who are new coming into it, and potential radio station owners. Kel, over to you.
Hello, yes. So primarily we operate on two platforms actually. We've got the app, the desktop app, and we've got the browser app as well, which operates in your standard internet browser. The difference between the two is that the desktop app is slightly more sophisticated in the fact that you can select your download location. So for instance, mine is set to download into Dropbox. So it throws all my tunes into Dropbox, so it's instantly backed up, and I can get to that. If my computer suddenly loads, they're still in Dropbox, and what have you. So it backs itself up, really. And the platform itself, the releases are listed by date, but you can do search functions. Right? You can search by type, whether it be an extended mix, a radio edit, clean edit, explicit edit. You can search by genres. There's dance music, urban music. Even media. I mean, if for some people, some of us as brothers are video DJs and audio DJs, so they have both. You can search by video and audio. There's genres. There's lots. And we also do these things called intro edits, which are basically is a radio edit with a 4-bar intro and outro on it. So it's a sharp way of doing some of the mixing if you want to kind of keep people's attention and not be too clubby. You can search by BPM. You can do BPM filter. And you can download in various formats. And I noticed it in your kind of chat there, you were saying about this MP3 format that you have to upload, which is fine. I'm guessing that's from the storage capacity side of it. But with Paul, primarily Paul, you can download in one of 3 formats, one of them being MP3, which is great. But you can also download in WAV or M4A lossless. You can choose that type. Depending on, I'm guessing if people are going to be using it for Radio.co, then they're going to be using the MP3 format, which is fine. Generally, how I base it is if you're going to edit the tracks and do your own things with it, then I'd probably download WAV, but if you're not going to edit them, we just play them, then MP3 is absolutely fine. So there's various different sophistications to how you can search for the tracks, and you can literally search by day or by week or by month. And there is a factor, a function where you can download all new content within the last 14 days. So even if you go on every 2 weeks and just click that, then you can just download all the tracks that get released. And generally we release 36 on average, usually slightly more than that, 36 titles a week. And that's not 36 tracks, that's 36 titles, and which those titles there may be a radio edit, an extended edit, a clean edit, and various other things. So sometimes it's just one track. If you're just a pop track, there'll be one track. So on average, we're probably releasing well over 150 actual tunes a month. And the subscribers are paying £15 for that. Now, I remember back in the day when I used to go out record shopping, and if I could have spent £15 a month on records, it would have been amazing. But I was spending probably at least £100 a week on records back in the old days. But £15 a month is it's just a steal, really. And we are fully licensed as well. So all that, a lot of that goes to the record companies and the labels and the artists as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was actually one thing I was going to ask. It's one of our most popular questions, in terms of licensing in regards to how is it covered with an internet radio station? I mean, there's general rules and regulations in place for internet radio in general. So do you mind kind of going into a bit more detail about how it works with promo only?
Yes, so we're fully licensed with the PRS and PPL. So each track that anyone downloads, you are buying a licensed track. So therefore, the way it works in venues is you are playing tracks which are legal. And then from the venue's point of view, they should also be having some kind of performing rights license.
Of course, yeah.
But providing the venue's got that, then you are walking in and you are fully covered, you are fully legal. And with the radio station, I'm guessing you've got a similar kind of thing going on as well. So if they're playing tracks.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, with using the UK as an example, PRS and PPL, as long as you have permissions to essentially kind of play whatever you want, really, to ensure, royalties are paid due. It's kind of a bit more of a bit of a music sort of nerd kind of question, really. So for you, as someone who has worked, within the industry, been a DJ for many, many years, to you, kind of what makes a great set, really? What is important, really, for a DJ, to be successful or just to be, I guess, reviewed well?
Well, it's an interesting question. There's people who've always looked up to as DJs who I sort of based what I liked when I was younger. And there's a difference between what you like and what the crowd's like. And you have to kind of separate the two. So sometimes I'll hear a track and go, that track is amazing. And then you sort of think, it's not really going to work where I'm going to play it, but I do love it. But then other tracks you think, actually, that's a really good track. I don't think much of it, but actually that's going to work really well at the club. There's lots of reworks and things like that around at the moment of the 90s tracks. And you get so many of these, the older DJs going, the original was better. It may be the original was better, but actually this is bringing this sound to a new generation. So actually I don't see a problem with that. So it's kind of separating your music taste from the taste of what you may or may not want to be playing. And then structuring your set. So, I mean, generally we talk about sort of headline DJs and warm-up DJs. So if the headline DJ is such and such, I don't know, whoever it's going to be, there's no point if you're the warm-up DJ or the early DJ is going in and playing loads and loads of sort of peak set stuff, because that's not really going to work. So you have to kind of build the night. And so there's two ways of looking at a DJ set. So you can look at it in terms of, if it's an hour set, you're going to play, if you're kind of on before the headline, you're not going to play big set, but you're going to play fairly big stuff. But if you're on early, you're going to play stuff to get that warmed up. But then if it's a longer set, you sort of think it's going to have a beginning, a middle and an end. So you can start off something atmospheric, build into it, a bit like sort of film. You don't sort of start watching a film and it's just whang bang from the beginning. You have to kind of let the story develop. And so there's different sort of ways of how you could really structure a set. And I suppose having an ear for music is, some people that they have different ears to music, so they're going to pick some stuff, and it's just finding that right sound that you think works for you. Really, is the biggest thing. Different DJs play different things, and so it's just working out your sound really and where you want to go with it.
Yeah, you've touched on it, and it's very, very similar with radio. That idea of separating what you want to play and more kind of what you should play in a way where, you know, if you're looking to launch a bit more of a specified niche station, like for example, sort of my main forte really is like, you know, sort of heavy metal and things like that. Whereas as much as I'd love to play really obscure stuff that's 11 minutes in length, I think it's a fantastic track. Chances are the more casual listeners aren't necessarily going to enjoy, the majority of them won't necessarily enjoy that. So I do want to play some of the more mainstreamy things that I might not be my absolute favourite music, but I know that it's popular, it gets a good reaction, things like that. So yeah, what you're saying there is just learning to kind of separate, and playing, I say, more sort of crowd pleasers, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, it is. You've got to switch your ego off to a certain degree. I mean, having said that, I'd always, no matter where I'm playing, I'll always try and play one new track. And it could be a remix of an old track or something, but I always try and play one new track just to kind of just please me really more than anything else. But yeah, you just have to kind of be aware of that, whether it be radio or, you know, people in front of you or whatever. You can't just stick your head down and just. And it's interesting actually, because I'm old now, so I've been doing this a long time. And someone said to me a couple of weeks ago, I said, if you were booked to play, whatever you were going to play, they were going to love it. What would you play? And I sat there and thought, you know what? I actually really don't know, because I've spent almost 30 years trying to work out what people want to hear in a club and what they will want to dance to. And I've got my own taste. And now there's such a big kind of almost conflict of interest between what people will want to hear and what I want to play, that I couldn't answer. And I said, you know what? I don't actually know what I would play, because I'm too used to thinking about what other people want to hear. So it's a tricky one. Yeah.
In terms of broadcasting, performing to a crowd, what's something that you've learned, you know, potentially whether it's that you've learned the hard way, or, you know, what's a good sort of, I guess, sort of bit of advice kind of working through the industry?
In terms of clubs, structuring your set, making sure you're not playing all the winners from the minute the door opens. Because quite often people come up to you, can you play this such? I said, well, yeah, I'm going to play it, but not now. And they look at you like you're an alien. It's like, no, that's not how this works. And from a club perspective as well, is being good on the mic. Being able to use a mic is probably one of the biggest things, because the younger DJs, they're not necessarily sort of confident in using a mic, and people want people on the mic in sort of commercial settings these days. So yes, structuring a set. Mixing was a big thing when it was vinyl. I mean, I came from vinyl, and you had to be able to mix, really. Mixing now, not such a big thing. I still mix by ear, but I would always. Funny enough, I was talking to Sash, DJ Sash in Ibiza, and his son, he's training to be essentially his replacement. And he said, I'm training him up to kind of be a DJ at the moment. I looked at him and said, are you teaching him properly? He went, yes, I'm teaching him to mix by ear. He said, this is the way. Yes. Yeah. But mixing was kind of the main part. And I think that is important. But I think programming and reading the floor is something that you have to learn. I don't think you can really teach it in the same way. You have to kind of learn it. You have to learn what's going to work. And that comes with being stuck in front of a crowd and going, right, play some music.
Yeah. What does a good DJ set say about a DJ?
Well, I mean, yeah, being able to rock a crowd is kind of whatever it is. I mean, I'm resident for Back 2 Festival, and the guy who runs the festival, he says, I love what you do, because, you know, no matter what I want you to do, you'll go and play an 80s set, you'll go and play an upfront techno set or whatever it is. He said, you'll do it because you can just kind of go in there and read the floor and do what's all there. So being able to read the floor and being able to work out who's working around you. So being on before Judge Jules is you're not going to play everything Judge Jules is going to play, and you're kind of almost preparing everyone for Judge Jules. You're not being the headline. You are being the warm up act. Leave your ego at the door and just do that way.
Yeah, I know radio broadcasters have this, and we are quite irked by this. Are there any, I guess, misconceptions or stereotypes of a DJ that is, again, like, you know, radio broadcasts, people presume we have this really cringy American broadcasting voice and stuff, you know, people have this idea and this persona of what a broadcaster is. It's all, you know, out of date and things. Is there a similar sort of just completely incorrect, kind of injure that people believe that DJs are capable of or do?
Yeah, I mean, the fun is a couple of memes that do the round on socials every now and again, which do make me laugh. In fact, my own family members and friends of the family, they say, "Oh, is Kev still doing his DJing?" It's like, yeah, it's his job. That's what he does. It's his job. It's not a little bit DJ. It's his job. So that's the thing that makes me laugh. And I think that's almost what's happened is over the years, and now to DJing has been so easy to enter, is that some people it may have perceptually been kind of devalued as a job in some respects. But the other one is when people say you're a DJ, they just go like that straight away. You're a DJ. Like,
yeah.
Do that every 2 seconds.
In terms of like promo-only users, why should promo-only users, DJs, why should they think more seriously kind of about their brand and their own sort of self-promotion?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you are serious enough to subscribe to a DJ pool like promo-only, then you are looking to take your DJ career seriously. And if that's the case, then you're investing your money in your business. So £15 a month is very, very manageable in that respect, but it's actually a business expense, and you should look at it in that respect and think, right, okay, so I'm now spending £15 a month. You should be looking to get sort of some investment in working and working venues, mobile gigs, whatever it is, doing radio shows, and investing your time, because if you're serious enough to want to pay for the music and do it through a licensed pool, then you should definitely look at stepping it up and taking it up a level.
Yeah, absolutely. And from someone coming from outside radio specifically, what sort of benefits do you see of a DJ using something like a radio station or an online stream? Why do you or how do you see that as valuable to them?
Well, it's interesting what you're saying, because with what you were saying in your little spiel there about, so you can actually record the streams there as well, which is great. People that don't necessarily have the ability to record at home, then they can record their stream through your service, which is fantastic. So that's one thing they could do. And it's promotion. It's getting their name out there, so you can get your own radio station going, and you can get some idents made, and you can get your name out there, and you never know where it could go, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, a lot of people have this misconception that, I've got a 24-hour radio station, I must fill it with lots of content. And as I said earlier, we have a lot of stations who are, in some ways, it's kind of like a pay-per-view sort of station where it's just the same event kind of on loop every so many hours and stuff. And we have plenty of stations where they have a 24/7 stream of just the same continuous content. And what that allows them to do is they've got this constant online presence, and it doesn't matter where people are finding them, time zone, time of day. There's just a constant bit of added visibility really for this online stream, and it can obviously sort of do wonders for DJs and such. Yeah, so I mean, I guess was there anything that you are interested in asking, sort of anything kind of about our platform or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, because I know that there are other platforms available that people could stream on, but the fact that you can actually record in there as well, I think that was very, very interesting. Is there a time limit on what you can record on?
It's the length of the event. So if you've scheduled a 3-hour DJ set, or even if it's an ad hoc one, someone's just suddenly got the idea of, right, well, I've got nothing to do, plans have been cancelled, I'm just going to do a live set now. You can schedule it to record, and it records it as an MP3 file, and we have integration with Mixcloud, so you could more or less, as soon as your show finishes, instantly upload it on demand to Mixcloud. Or another use really is if a host was looking to expand their brand, as I say, by having their own website perhaps. There is a way where platforms like Mixcloud or other on-demand platforms, you can kind of almost create like a playlist and embed that onto a site, so someone could listen to a live stream, but also access old shows and stuff. Ideally, only making it available through their own personal websites. You're not going to find any luck distributing that to the likes of Spotify and such, but it's a way of inviting people to their brand, and that's why radio in particular has a good advantage over things like YouTube or podcasts, because with radio you have the ability to take people to an exact location affiliated with your brand. So you can take people to listen exclusively via your website, where they're not inundated with other artists that might pique their interest or other videos, anything distracting. They're there to see information about you. There's a web player there. There's old content maybe on there. It's just a great way. It takes a lot of work, of course, but it's a great way to have just an exclusively branded venture for nothing but your content.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, we're looking at myself after this actually as well. So.
Awesome. Well, I think that kind of just about sort of covers it really. And so if you are a new and upcoming music-based radio station, then I do encourage you to check out Promo Only to kind of see how their library of content could work for you and your listeners, your streamers and things. So could you give us a bit of insight in terms of how people can find you easily and access it, and any sort of promotional material and such?
Yeah, I mean, search Promo Only. Our website is promoonly.uk. People think it's .co.uk. It's not. It's .uk, which can throw people. But you don't want to go to the US one because that's promoonly.com, which is going to keep confusing. But promoonly.uk is our main website. We're very active on socials, our Facebook page. I've literally just done our post this afternoon. I do a weekly weekend weapons post as well, which has literally gone up as you were doing your bit. I was quickly doing that, and I've chosen sort of 10 must-have tracks that you're going to need this weekend. And they're actually downloadable. There's a section on the desktop app as well as the browser app that's playlists, and you can go to that, and it's My Weekend Weapons, and you can download all those in one go if you're in a hurry and just want to grab those quick tracks. But so we're very active on social, so you can always do a quick search for us, Facebook, Insta, and not so much Twitter or X or whatever it's called these days. I'm never quite sure. But we've got the website as well, promoonly.uk, and it gives you examples of tracks we've released this week and this month, and you can see our back catalogue stuff as well. So the great thing about the Pool app as well is that we have this integration with I Like Music. So and what should happen if you're a subscriber for the first time, you sign up, you can buy credits for I Like Music. There's an ILM tab in the app, and what's great about it when you first join is you get given 5 free credits. You can download 5 tracks. But you also, within the app, you can buy credits for I Like Music, and they do offers fairly regularly, 100 credits, and they work out depending on how much you spend. In fact, let me just jump on that now. It's my credits. So they work out at you can buy. They work out 5 credits are £1.20 each, but then you can buy up to 100 credits, and they work out 84p each. And then they don't expire. So then you've got all the new stuff that the Promo Only releases, and you think, oh, actually, I wonder if that Elvis and Junkie XL track, Little Less Conversation, is about. And then you can look on I Love Music. Oh, yeah, that was out in whenever it was out, 2000, and I'm going to say 2004, but I might be wrong. And then you can actually download that, so you got access to, and the music. I Like Music goes back to the 1950s. So you've got a hell of a lot of music on there that you can all in one place. Because I Like Music is a separate website, and you can buy the credits there, or you can have Promo Only, and it's all built in, so you can have actually access to 2 platforms within one.
Excellent. So, there is no reason, someone shouldn't be checking out Promo Only really, for much more sort of widely available content. And we're doing some crop promotional sort of offers and things for current Radio.co users, current Promo Only users, people who have never experienced either are more than welcome to join either platform. So we'll have a bit more information in the, the description of this video, I'm sure, and, material we'll be sending out to people. Can people reach out to, I know you mentioned about like the Promo Only socials, or any of those like your personal ones? Can people kind of reach out for any advice, guidance?
What the major plus point of our particular service is that we're UK based, and on the website there's an actual phone number. It's an 0208 phone number. You can ring us up. It's based in this country. If you ring during kind of office hours, you'll get someone picking up the phone and saying hello. So you can actually speak to a person. We're not based in another country, sort of US or anything like that, which is going to cost you a fortune, or the time zone is different. So the Promo Only UK office is London-based, and actual people, and people message me fairly regularly on the Promo Only page with questions and inquiries and things like that. And some people get in touch and say, any chance you can get this track on there? And I sort of look and say, actually, we could probably get that one on there for you. So you get people requesting stuff. So we're very it's a very human base behind the name, which is I like to think is a big plus point for us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said with us, doing these sorts of webinars, tutorials, and, demonstrations, just proves that, there are passionate people behind these nerds, albeit behind these sorts of platforms. And, we're just kind of eager to please and, trying to coach the next, sort of breed of radio presenters and DJs and such.
Absolutely. Well, my other performance name is Video Geek. So I am a very proud geek. So, yeah, I do love about music.
Good. Like I said, well, if you are a, as I said, a current user of promo only, and you're looking for a new outlet to, kind of spread your wings a bit further, just see if an online radio station, or at the very least, a live or pre-recorded online stream is something that you want to explore, then absolutely head to Radio.co. And as I say, we'll have more information, within this video, and be sending, if you're interested in learning more, you can reach out to studio@Radio.co. And likewise, if you are a current user of Radio.co, or again, you just happen to be interested in what Promo Only have to offer, then again, get in touch and we'll hand you over to the right place. Thank you so much, Kel, for joining us. I greatly appreciate, again, talking to an expert in this sort of field, because it's something I could not blag at all. So, and it's really interesting to learn more about, I guess, the sciences and the logic behind sets and things, and what kind of makes a good sort of successful DJ.
Thanks very much for your time today. It's been great fun.
No, you're very, very welcome. And as I say, if you haven't done so already, please make sure to subscribe to our Radio.co YouTube channel, as you'll find an abundance of tutorials, industry guidance, and reviews about absolutely everything there is to know within the realm of internet radio broadcasting. And if you hit the bell icon, as you know, you'll be alerted the second something new pops up. Repeat it again, if you are interested in launching your very own internet radio station, then do get in touch with me via studio@radio.co, or you can head to our website, radio.co, and there'll be a book a demo button on our website where you can arrange a time to speak with me directly. Imagine that. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to check out our video. Thank you again, once again, to Kel. And until next time, take care and happy broadcasting. Want to take your radio station to the next level? Well, here at Radio.co, we don't just specialise in launching new radio stations, but elevating existing ones too. For example, do you have an internet radio station that doesn't seem to be hitting that audience you want? Are you unsure whether the branding or the content you've created is right? Are there just too many industry buzzwords and equipment types that you can't get your head around? Allow me to offer my expertise. For just $50, you can schedule in a 50-minute consultation with me to go through every aspect of your station, with the goal of refocusing and revitalising your efforts to mold it into something that you're truly happy with. Even if you don't have a radio station or podcast yet, but you'd like some guidance on how to get off to a strong start, then please don't hesitate to get in touch. Don't let stress and small audience numbers get you down. Get in touch via studio@radio.co, and we'll put our heads together to turn this thing around.